Just got telling everybody about how badass you are and how excited we are to have you coming down, man.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, here's the thing, man. I'm just a regular guy that was super fortunate to be blessed in some very unique positions. Spent a bunch of time doing what I love. So yeah, passing that stuff on. Here's the one thing a lot of people don't know, and I think it's important to get it out there. A lot of people think, hey, man, you did 29 years. That's what you know. That's what you got out doing. Dude, War HOGG Tactical was established back in 2002, man. So, you probably remember the Special Forces Advanced Urban Combat Committee. That's where, War HOGG Tactical was established. So I was an original guy over at 7th Group. The initial guys that came back from Afghanistan in 2002 from 7th Group, man, when they like, hey, that stuff you taught me saved my life. That was the hook setter, man. I knew I was running a tactical company after that. So it just took a little bit of time, 13 trips later overseas to kind of figure all that stuff out and get out and hit the civilian world running.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, buddy.
You're a big name in the industry, and I look up to guys like you. Obviously, we know each other's background, but you bringing it now, and kind of teaching, the good guys, and that's what we do as Green Berets, right? We force multiply. And when I see guys like you in the industry, it makes me proud. And it's going to be great that we get to kind of work together now.
Yeah, man, how long's it been too? I mean, it's been a long time, man. So, yeah.
But I'm glad you're doing well, and for you guys that don't know my followers, he's the real deal. And, he served in some of the most lethal units in the military, has the offer, and he's done it at the peak of the war. So now that he's going around, he's teaching, it's so invaluable, and we still need it now. And, to hear the voices of the Green Berets, as leaders now, to talk about, just struggles. I think we can all relate to our struggles, right? Each one of them. And that's what I'm also doing, guys, for my followers, is that in Miami, I'm giving my speaking venues where I talk about, struggles. And it's through the struggles, you find yourself. And I find out every warrior, that kind of fought the hard years and some of the most, dangerous environments, and now they're coming back and they're taking their knowledge and they're giving back. And so, we need to take advantage of this, all this knowledge. Yeah. Chris, thanks for, kind of assembling the team in this event and getting everybody together, because, some of these guys I haven't seen in years.
Absolutely. So, a lot of people have asked, hey, how did you manage to put together a crew like this? And I said, myself, my best friend, Marcelo, who's my business partner for Tier 1 Miami, we got together and we say every year, we're like, hey, who do you want to train with this year? And we usually will go to outside venues. And I said, why don't we bring everybody here? Let's just reach out to the coolest dudes that are some of the most lethal guys that have walked the planet and bring them to Miami just to have a great time and really spread load a message to the community at America's premier mindset and training event, And I think that's important. I think Marcelo's on right now. I think he's trying to figure out how to get on. Send a message request to join the chat, Cello. He's under the Tier 1 page.
But, Chris, here's the thing, man. Here's a key thing you missed. You just picked up the phone and made a phone call, right?
That's it.
And I think, too, you can agree with this, man. A lot of people just don't ask. Right. They get wrapped around, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that. Dude, pick up the phone and make a call or shoot a text or email or whatever, You'd be surprised. People will, for the most part, reply back to you and go, hey, man, are you available? Let me check the calendar. Yeah.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. So that original concept, it developed into relationships that we've cultivated over the past couple of years being in the industry, faces that have not only quite a bit of notoriety to them as far as people that follow them, but in regards to guys that are very well respected in this community, guys that hold themselves to that standard and set the pace. And that's the guys that I wanted to bring down. I need the best in the world to spread load this message. And you know, I got you guys on deck. Raul Martinez with Rogue Methods. You know, Raul's combatives program that he's got going on right now, second to none. You know, and it's really catching a lot of fire. It's catching a lot of attention, and he's running to the wind with it. I think that's awesome. We brought Florida Thames on board. Justin Parinelli, he is a awesome, humble dude. He's got one of his staff guys coming with him, 24 years, Navy SEAL, frogman. You know, the guy's an 18 Delta graduate. What we're looking for is the guys that can take people's mentality and skill set to that next level.
So, you know, since we got, you know, Rick, got you on, man, can you kind of talk about, you know, your training curriculum and how you were able to take your experience and made who you are in the industry?
You know, that's the key thing too, right? It's all about sharing the experience. So to be an honest broker, I'll tell you straight up, when we talk about shooting people, it's derived from experience. You know, it's just not some arbitrary theory. And again, I'm not trying to teach people to go out there and have murderous intent in their heart, but here's the bottom line. Evil's out there and you've got to be prepared, you know, and especially, it doesn't matter my civilians, military, law enforcement. Hey man, I'd rather you have the skill set and never have to use it. But God forbid you are in that deadly force encounter, man, you shut that thing down quick. And that's the key part that, you know, people don't get. So we start with, you know, I've got a different philosophy as far as, hey man, we don't go to the flat range, because if you treat it like the flat range, you get in that training itis. No, man, treat it like the street, you know, or whatever hostile environment you want. That's what I want to do. I want to start getting guys' mind thinking like that. The other thing is shooting's an unemotional event. I don't care whether you're shooting paper, shooting people, shooting whatever. It's an unemotional event. So you've got to start breaking these guys when they're like kicking the dirt, cussing, hollering. Whoa, dude, time out. What'd you do wrong? Well, I slapped the trigger. I didn't line myself. It doesn't matter. Cool. Don't do it. It's as simple as that. And you got to cut the emotions out of there. And that's what a lot of guys, they start to slowly pick that up. What'd you do right? Duplicate it. What'd you do wrong? Don't do that. I mean, it's fairly easy, right? Keep your sights aligned and don't manipulate that handgun to adjust from there, and your rounds will be where they want. But then we take it, you know, all my classes, I have them bring an old t-shirt, because we put t-shirts over targets, because again, I want to add realism, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag because there's some learning that has to go on. We merely put them up, do some shooting. After that, they get some instruction and go from there. And then we culminate with some physical dress, man. And it's just not a one run down, shoot, and you're done. It's repetitive, because that's gunfighting, that's combat, that's whatever. It's not, hey, run up, burn a dude down, and you're done. You might have to go from one to another to another. So typically 3 rounds is what we're doing. And I've had officers, you know, had some of my students from last year's class, man, reach back out and go, hey, dude, we're fully, you know, convinced that, you know, that shooting under physical arrest multiple times, that saved our life. You know, long story short, 2 guys were involved in a traffic stop. It went bad. One dude got hit. I mean, it wasn't catastrophic. But again, gunfight there. Suspect bolts off. They have to go chase after another gunfight, you know, and then finally it ends one more later. But it's like, it's just not the one and done. So that's just the way that Rick tries to bring stuff there and approach the way we do training. So we're going to try to take all of that and a little bit of probably strong hand shooting, jam it all into a quick 3-hour block in Miami. It's going to be drinking through a fire hose, man. But
Yeah,
you know, you're gonna get it. You know, yeah. So make sure you guys are bringing your water.
So you hit the nail on the head there, Rick, because, you know, when during the inception of the event, that's one thing that I needed to broadcast, that was, hey, this is serious. You know, this round robin, it's not going to be, you know, there's other events that are ran around where everybody's like, hey, listen to my war stories. We'll talk about them over dinner. You know, you're coming here to train.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 3 solid hours per instructor, a round robin, 9 hours of training every day minimum, plus the guest speaker following. So, you know, there's going to be some wear and tear that comes with that. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's very exclusive. It's for 50 people that want to get their asses handed to them and take themselves to the next level.
Yeah, I think what's really unique, guys, about this event is that you're bringing in proven tactics, right? So you're bringing in different commandos during the height of the war, these different concepts. We took it, look, guys, we took a snapshot of the war at different angles. Our skill set had to mirror what our job required us to do during the height of the war. And you're getting all these different team guys, all these different experiences at the highest level, at the peak of the war, converging into one area. So what I'm saying to my viewers is that very few times do you get that. Real life guys who's kind of done it, proven tactics, right? Basics perform at a very high stress level. We're going to push your heart rate to a certain level that we know that's what we encounter during combat. So we're going to push you to that level, but you're getting it at these different angles, these different instructors. And in one event, you're going from, Ronin's driving the gun tactics, and going to Rick's, his proven. What are you teaching there, Rick?
So it's going to be shooting under physical duress.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll give it. So, and here's the thing, right? Everyone's probably going, "Oh man, it's a 3-hour smoke session." Check it out. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you a little bit of instruction to get you kind of up to a place I need you to be. But yeah, don't worry. That last hour, we're going to sit there and get it on. And my friends at Brute Force, see, I'm not the bad guy. My friends at Brute Force give me these little sandbag things. I'm just going to move them around. That's all. Just going to move them.
David, you're going to do safety drills on them?
We have all kinds of fun stuff. So anybody who cyber stalks me, you can see some of the drills we do. I might as well let the cat out of the bag, man. The bear crawl is probably the best one because that's really the soul crusher, man. When they're bear crawling with that bag, and man, the things you hear some human beings say, it's like, all right. So now it's a good time, man.
And I love it. What he's stressing you out is the physical stress of it, right? So we can stand on the flat range, man. I could teach you the 7 fundamentals of pistol, marksmanship, and you can break it down in a nice, beautiful day, and we can do up drills all day long. But that's not combat. And, we saw that overseas. We never stood out in the open and did up drills. We were always seeking cover. Our heart rate was jacked. Our adrenaline was jacked. Mm-hmm. So what we're teaching is the realities of combat. And, with our experience and our snapshot of different angles of this war, we were able to extract the lessons learned and apply it to, our tactics, modern day tactics.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of great tactics and knowledge that came out of this last 20 years, the height of, in global war, especially at close quarters realm, especially in Iraq, at that level, close quarters, so there was a lot of lessons learned there that translated well. I and I found this out, Rick, and you could say the same is after you got out, we had to kind of change up our tactics a little bit, right? Because our environments changed, our terrains changed, the threats changed, different threat levels. So what I found as a Green Beret was I was able to look at my experience in the global war through 27 countries for myself, and extract what I learned the most, right? Which was there's certain principles. Mm-hmm. There's certain principles that is fundamental to a raid, an ambush, right? Security.
Sure.
Support by fire, assault. So what I'm saying, there's certain fundamentals that I learned throughout my process of my career that I was able to extract and employ it through my lesson. And same like you, high stress shooting.
Yeah.
High stress shooting is so important. High stress shooting is so important. And what I find, during my travels as an instructor is it's not really forced too much these days.
No. And the other thing is, no one, here's the thing, man. This is a life-saving skill. No different than if you want to say swimming. I mean, there's a bunch of things that will save your life, right? God forbid you live around the coast or you got a pool, you fall in the water, you can't swim. Could be catastrophic, right? So it was no different when I was working out at SFS. How many guys would show up knowing they have to pass a swim test, and they're going to the bottom of the pool? It's like, I can't swim. Get in the water. I don't care. Get in the water, But my point being is you have guys that do things, well, I do this. And it's like, hey, dude, that works great for the day. What do we do the rest of the time? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're building a daylight technique or a daylight habit, whatever you want to say. What happens when your gunfight goes at night? Now, how does that work? So I don't want to force feed people a lot of stuff. I need to get them to think. You know, a prime example, like when I'm doing my red dot stuff and we talk about t-shirts, how many guys do you think actually bring out a red shirt just to see, hey, man, what does that red dot do in a red shirt? I know the answer. I don't tell them. Go home, do some homework. Those are the things I need people to be thinking about. But you've got to kind of think for yourself to save your own life, to make sure, hey, man, does my kit work? You know, you talk about red dot stuff, right? I'm a big fan. I think it's kind of the wave of the future, although you got some people bucking it with the pistol, but nobody wants to have a closed emitter red dot. I was like, you know, you've got a built-in fail point. And you just ask the question, like, what is it? And nobody knows. I'm like, dude, you're carrying a piece of kit. How do you not know? So you got to.
So that's important, right, Rick?
Sure.
Because so that just came up yesterday, right? I taught a gunfighter course, Okeechobee, Florida, yesterday. And at the end of the day, the debrief, you know, I said, hey, biggest takeaway from the course. And it's one of the guys that's been to my course multiple times. And he said, man, you know what's crazy? My flashlight on the opposite side, if I'm trying to use my muzzle as a reference point for confined space shooting, it gets in the way. It gets in the way where I'm not really able to focus past it. And I said, man, if that's a takeaway for you, dude, then that's huge, because that's equipment that you deal with every single day of your life, man. And
Yep.
the only place that you can exploit that is here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what I want to also say is, you know, and Rick, you can also say this because we were in the same, for guys, we were in the same peer group. We kind of were in the military at the same time, is what I'm saying. So, you know, I was pre 9/11. Were you? Rick? Okay, so I was trained by the Space Force.
So hang on. I was pre-Desert Storm.
Oh, okay. Hey, man, you know, you still look great, right? So,
Hey, I'm 29, buddy. Holding strong.
Wow. Okay. So pre 9/11, both of us, right?
Yep.
And you know, when I was going through training, a lot of so it was pre-urban warfare, okay? Pre-urban warfare. So a lot of, you know, for us out in First Special Force Group, a lot of jungle raids, ambushes, you know, just because of the threat level that we had to do in Asia, right? North Korea was a big threat level, so a lot of mountainous terrain type of warfare, rough terrain jumping. So what I'm saying is CQB was not really, it wasn't really known in special forces. When I say that, it was really, you know, the last time we got into close quarters combat, you know, and Rick, correct me if I'm wrong in my history, man. The last time in special operation, so I got in 93, the last time that we got into was Somalia, right? With the Rangers and the unit guys. So but think about it, like, you know, I was in groups. So think about the trickle down of information through the process of the years, right?
Sure.
Through that certain training location.
And
So
what
I'm saying is we had certain reps that we performed prior to the war that didn't work during the war, certain techniques that was handed down during peacetime that didn't work during the war years. And we had to refine these tactics and change some of our tactics, even in gunfighting, compressing the gun, because things changed in that urbanized environment that we're set in. You know, can you share what you think about it, Rick?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Each of the groups are regionally orientated. So again, looking at 7th group, you got to think we had some of those guys. We still had some that were around during El Salvador. You know, you got to think Panama was around, you know, so you had some different experience. Now with you guys being at Lewis, you're probably in the same boat. When I was at Bragg, obviously our SIP was down in Panama. You guys were over in Okinawa.
I was in Okinawa, yeah. I was my first state.
But it's still geographically separated, right?
Yes.
Now the SIFs have kind of, I've heard they've come together, heard they're going away, but that was really back, if you want to say, in the 90s. We had the SOT program, which was a 4-week, you know, kind of CQB marksmanship course. That went away, and the SFAWIC program kicked up towards the latter part of the 90s to kind of bridge that gap. And that's really where you saw, it was kind of funny how it's almost like somebody up at SF Command saw the writing on the wall, something's going to happen, and implemented that course, because I believe we got the entire 7th group done prior to 9/11. And
Nice.
I believe that's why they were second in the hopper to go to Afghanistan, because pretty much the fifth group guys were like, hey, language at that point doesn't matter. You've got to use terps anyway. We were at that point going into what we dubbed Cephalic 2. So now we were working at company level, you know, to get an SF company to operate as an entity, which is pretty much unheard of. So I think that's kind of what drove them to get into the hopper first. But you're right. I mean, there wasn't a big emphasis on urban combat. And if you hadn't been to either SOT or Sephardic, you really didn't get anything. So it was just a, what's up?
Hi, Raul. How are you?
Now keep going. I'm listening to the story. It's great.
Yeah,
got in a little
Just kind of,
He's giving us Special Forces history, you know, especially in the close quarters combat range and how that broke down.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's why I was listening. I was like, okay, that's where that happened. Right on.
yeah. So that's, you know, that's when it started. And really, if you think about it, that was probably great because pretty much when the GWOT kicked off, the majority of groups across the board had their programs running, and at least we're getting guys some good marksmanship training, you know, some good CQB, and then depending on each group could kind of add to. So we opted over at 7th, man, to sit there and jam pack this thing, probably more than what we needed to. I think some dubbed it, you know, the live fire ranger school, although they used to live fire ranger school for those of you that don't know. You'd have to go back in the history books on that one. But
Desert phase.
what's that?
Desert phase.
Yeah, out there at Dugway.
Desert phase.
Yeah, Dugway is a very interesting place. So, but yeah, we actually shut Dugway down. That was as the last class to go through Dugway. I might be dating myself. I'm only 29, so just so everyone's tracking on that. But yeah, so that was huge there. And then, you know, like you said, there's nothing like combat to sit there and solidify, you know, your tactics, techniques. And then, of course, you know, the ever-changing stuff with the GWOT as we start moving. Technology, man. You know, think about, you know, early 2000s, you know, nods really weren't a big thing, right? It was not everyone had them, sporadic across, but it wasn't like a staple like it is now, where you've got every swinging dude going out the door, a great set of goggles wearing lasers, you know. I mean, that's the difference, man.
Absolutely.
You know, if you want to sit there and go, why are we so superior? Number one, we've got some great freaking pipe hitters. Number two, the technology we use. And number three, granted, not everyone has this luxury, but we pretty much pick the time and place, you know. And unfortunately, regular Army dudes out there doing, hey, do this now. Hey, man, if it doesn't make sense, don't do it. You want to sit there and put the fight on your terms and then bring it to them. So, yeah.
That was the cool thing about technology, right? It allowed us to control time and space almost. We could bring the fight whenever we wanted to, day or night, knowing that it changed a lot of things. The animals were always a pain in the butt, but it was good to have technology on our side.
I'm not going to lie, man. Wasn't a super fan of the day. That brought everything, you know, that made the playing field even, you know. I want to sit there and roll out at dark 30 and, oh, by the way, if I'm still out and the sun's coming up, man, that's, you know, because then at that point, everything's even, you know. So, I mean, when you're sitting there, when the green eyes are out there getting ready to sit there and schwack you, they know it, you know. Yeah. And trust me, they feared the green eyes, because coming after them, it's like, that's the boogeyman. You know,
remember during that phase of the war, Rick, that you know, the green eyes, you know, we the public, you know, the psyops. Remember,
huge,
thousands of leaflets, you know, all through the city of you know, Baghdad. The green eyes are coming, and when the green eyes come, people die, and it's very true, you know. But it painted I remember this. It painted a mythical. Almost like a creature, remember, to the locals. You know, because psychological warfare is part of warfare. You have to win psychologically. You have to win with your enemy. They have to fear you.
Well, think about I forget what year it was. Dude, we kept schwacking whoever was the mayor up there in Mosul, right? It's like, all right, here's the mayor, gone. Finally, it's like, hey, man, who's the mayor? Because nobody's stepping up to the plate. It's like nobody wanted any of that.
Yeah, they didn't want to get killed.
No, because they knew, man. That and the bumblebees, man. They weren't a big fan of the bumblebees.
Raul, what's up, man? I you know, big martial artist, right? So I see, man, I see your martial arts. I see a lot of jiu-jitsu base. What else are you? What else do you do, man?
So it's a really cool blend, and like how Chris was saying about just bringing the coolest dudes to train where he lives. Basically, it's what I did with martial arts. I surrounded myself with boxers, Thai fighters, wrestlers, the Greco style, more upper body instead of the lower freestyle, and then good jiu-jitsu just to be able to control space and make space and close space. And it's a good blend of all those things because those are all the things I like to do. And the program itself looks a lot just like a brawl, but really everything's a brawl when it starts to get chaotic and when people start to get tired, right? That's kind of where like form falls apart, technique starts to dwindle, at least in the less trained folks. And it's a really cool thing to see because the videos, and you know this, right? People will critique your videos and they'll see stuff and they'll be like, well, I would do this, I would do that. And everything's so different real time. It's so different when people are tired. It's so different when you have a black belt in 3 different martial arts and a guy who sits at a desk for the way that he feeds his family. So he's not a fighter. He doesn't fight, doesn't train, doesn't do any sort of PT. And they're both almost equal once you throw a gun in between them and they're scrambling for it. So it's really cool to see how people develop. And really you start to see something primal in a lot of people that I think they don't know it's there. So for me, it's that. It's like finding that like grit inside of people that's really changed it for me. And I never did this to be like, oh man, I want to run a fighting program. And when I saw the need for it, when I was doing undercover stuff in Chicago, I just didn't want to get beat up or robbed as a cop and then go back to the station and tell my buddies that I got jacked by some homeless crackheads, right? Because it's a crime of opportunity that we're dealing with, like on the street. It's really quick. You're not a high level dude where guys come to your car and they jump in and it's 3 dudes in black suits trying to rob you, right? It's never like that. It's a crime of opportunity. It's a crackhead that sees you. You were just not paying attention to him and jumps out of nowhere. So it was more like filling the gap for myself to not get beat up and deal with some of the guys. And I fused in the combative stuff that I knew. I fused in jiu-jitsu. I fused in boxing. And then all just made sense. And fighting looks like fighting, right? We see that a lot. You see scrambles and it's brutal. It's fun. And for me, the cool part was being able to somehow contain it in a one-day event where people can be like, cool, I need more of this. I'm going to fine-tune it. I'll see you in 6 months. They come back. They fine-tuned it, and then they find out that they're lacking somewhere else. Yeah. So they'll fine-tune that. Then they'll come back. And now you're getting these people that are coming and almost like it's testing themselves in a good environment because you guys all know this. It's hard to replace training partners if we truly abuse each other. And so building that camaraderie in the class and still allowing dudes to walk away with bloody noses and busted lips, it's something that's missing in modern culture, I think. And that's just what I'm trying to do is keep that going so that the dudes stay dudes and we're just tough like we're supposed to be.
Well, you hit the key on the head, man. Dudes be dudes, right? It's like, it's almost if you got masculinity or testosterone, that's a bad thing, this day and age. It's like, yeah, you've got to, dude, here's the thing, man. It's a life-saving skill, right? And like you said, it's at the primal level. And somehow that whole primal piece is gone, man. If you fight, you're bad. If you do this, you're bad. Everything's bad. It's like, no way, dude.
Right.
And
what's cool too is like you'll see it, and this will resonate with you and you guys as well. But it looks gritty. It looks fun. Dudes are punching each other, shooting Simsa, and everybody's showing their bruises off. But what they don't see is like the small bits of exchange of information in the class where we're like, hey, I need you to be in tune with your feelings, not emotions, right? Because you talked about this earlier, Rick, about being overly emotional in certain situations where you don't need to be. You definitely need to feel the environment. You need to feel who you are in that environment. You need to feel how the ground feels to know if it's stable enough to do something aggressive or if you need to pull away. So I talk about how you feel things in the sense of becoming one with what's around you so you can learn to utilize it.
I love that because I talk about that in my martial arts is intelligence, right? Because as Green Berets, we're intelligent. So we're always constantly gathering the intelligence. For me, it's snapshotting the room, it's snapshotting the environment, the terrain, what's the biggest advantage? Can I choke him at this? Obviously my fight changes in a hallway versus a room versus an elevator. You know what I mean? And guys, I could speak at these 2 guys at their level. We do fight in elevators. We do fight in stairways. We do fight in a moving car. We have done it. That's part of our training that we had to go through. And the thing is that what I love about what you just said, that you drew out martial arts, right? You dissect it and you put into your operational world. And that's what I did. But the thing was, when I first came in, there was no martial art program, Rick. You can honestly say this, right? There was no really curriculum within special operations, a well-made curriculum like SOC-P that we have now, you know? It was a gathering of, you know, tough guys or martial artists, and they'll put together maybe a company or a team training, and then, you know, we'll teach the teams. But now they truly have a training curriculum that arrived out of the Iraq War. It was close quarters. Because before, and I can tell you, before it was jiu-jitsu. Back when UFC started taking off, we did a lot of jiu-jitsu. You know, even in the unit, it was team rock jiu-jitsu.
Sure, but you got to look at it like at the group side, right? Lines, that was like, I think 90s era esque.
Yeah, 820 Blair, right?
No, that was Rondon Vito.
Yes, that's right.
So that was the Marine Corps technique, you know. But it was like there was nothing. So people were trying to grab at whatever to get something, and you would think that, you know, within group there would be something, or I should say within SF command, but there was nothing, man. It was just what guys grab, you know, kind of push you over here. But now there's finally a program in place, and, you know, SOC-P is doing, you know, it set the kind of standard across the board for them, where now they've got something to go off of, where, you know, it's universal. Because, hey man, what you guys are doing in first group, let's be an honest broker. First group, you guys got a lot more access, if you want to say, to different fighting styles. So let's say you got a team that goes to the Philippines. Hey man, they might pick something up there. You got a team that goes to Thailand, right? They might pick up something there. So you guys, I think, you know, we're in a very cool spot, short of us in 7th group going down to Brazil, which there was only one team per battalion that could do that, you know. I mean, other than that, you weren't getting a whole bunch of combatives down in Central and South America, man. So, but that's
the good thing is that now they're readily available and can be brought to you anywhere pretty much in the country by awesome dudes like you guys, like Raul, traveling to different venues around the country. Ronan, you too, man, too. You guys travel, you teach your combatives anywhere that you're requested. I think that that's so phenomenal. The access to your information now is so, it's just there to access for the people that really need to learn from you guys' individual skill sets.
You know, guys, I you know, I'm talking to, you know, my followers on here right now is, you know, guys, you know, if you're not snapshotting the intelligence that's going on in the world right now, it's, the threat level's going up. You know, threat level's going up. And, you know, certain states, they're defunding, obviously defunding law enforcement. We see it, right? So you are the first responder, guys. You know, even if, you know, a police officer can get to you within 10 minutes, doesn't matter. You're the first responder now. You have to be able to assess the situation. You have to be able to gather the intelligence. You have to have the tactics, the situational awareness, the plan, right? Based off of the threat level. The threat level is rising.
So I can attest to that, because I am an active police officer in the largest municipal police department in the state of Florida. And in being that and doing that job for so long, you see it. Where if somebody would have just been spatially aware of what was going on around them and not been in their phone, they may still be alive. If they were more cognizant of the area that they were walking in, maybe they'd still be alive. You know, so many different factors come into play. And listen, I've been a police officer for 13 years. I tell my wife the same thing. Honey, it's going to take me a minute to get to you, because whether I'm riding a blue and white with lights and sirens on, it doesn't matter. I can't teleport to where you are. No police officer can. It's incumbent upon citizens to really, really seek that training and prepare themselves, because you're 100% right. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to take us a minute to get there.
You know what people don't understand, you know, for me, my journey was I worked a lot of low-vis stuff overseas that maybe one of the 5 Americans in country, you know, with no QRF, you know, multiple countries away. So my snapshot was, you know, I had to be extremely dangerous. You know, because look, guys, we stop violence with more violence. And I feel this because when I was going in these foreign countries and I was working in these doing these low vis reconnaissance, my level of violence has to be there, but my situational awareness and my planning a threat level assessment had to be dead on point. And, you know, and that's what, you know, what I see, you know, my peers right here teaching. You know, they're teaching their combat skills at their snapshot or whatever their angle of the war was, which is extreme. You know, so what I'm telling you guys is if you can extract the lessons that we're going to give you at that real level, at the height of the war in units that done it, right? If you can extract that at the very violent level, then look, you can adjust that, you know, you can adjust that threat level, right? You can, you know, look, when I kick open the door, it's not always violent, right? We kick in the door, we assess if there's no threat, we control the unarmed, right? We control the situation in the room. We don't just kick open the door and shoot everybody in the room. So if I train you how to kick open the door and shoot 5 guys in the room instantly, you have that experience, right? So it's up to you as a human being and understanding the threat levels if you need to go to that level of violence. And there's only certain guys that can teach you that.
And two, on that, you know, something I do, you know, going back, because the whole laying the unemotional event, right? Everyone, the way I say it, everyone gets a vote. And again, you can process those votes very quickly. But the point being, if you're sitting there kicking the dirt, getting frustrated over throwing shots, you know, are you going to sit there during that high stress, high emotional event, be able to sit there and switch gears real quick, you know? And it's telling people, hey, man, everyone, check it out. Everyone gets a vote. I don't care who you are. I pass by thousands of people every single day. They all get a vote. Nobody at this point since I've been home has voted ill intent against me. But if you do, you just voted. And there's no thought process about it. You vote, I'm sorry, check the box, and I'm going to finish it, because that's the way you got to do it. And you've got to get people in that mindset. You're not out there looking for the fight, but if the fight comes, boom. And a lot of it, like you were saying, you know, these guys out there, they're predators. They're looking for prey. And here's the thing. Just look at how people carry themselves, man. I am absolutely amazed when I go to big cities. They don't even need a phone. People just look at the ground. They're not even got their eyes up looking around. Dude, even if you suck, check it out, guys. Let me give you a little secret. Even if you suck and you got no skills, just kind of stick your shoulders back a little bit and act like you got something. Most people are going to leave you alone.
Awesome.
Because again, it's, you know, that predator's going to go, do I really want to see if he's got the juice or not? They're going to say, nope, where's the easy prey? So.
Yeah, they're looking for the non-voter, right?
That's it, man. That's it. Looking for the window licker, just cruising around in life, just waiting to get a ball bat over the head. You know, it's like
tons of them out there.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was gonna throw this one out because.
So, you know, guys, I have, since I have a lot of, you know, people on watching right now, I want to talk this story. It was Tom Spooner shared this with me. And it's a story of 2 wolves, right? The story of 2 wolves. So, you know, we know the story of the sheepdog, right? The sheepdogs that protect, you know, the sheep, the herd from the wolves that come in, the evil wolves that come into the lands, right? Where it kills the innocent sheeps, right? You have these sheepdogs that are bred to protect these lands, right? And then these wolves, you know, they would kill the innocent, and they would go back to their hateful grounds where they would sleep. You know? But what people didn't understand was there's another breed of wolves. You know, I was having dinner with one of my friends. You don't know who he is. In A Squad. And he told me the story of the 2 wolves. He said, "Take me to know that story. You know, the story of the sheepdogs and the wolves. You know, they just go back to their lands, their protected lands." He said, "You know, there are other wolves, and these wolves are just as evil, just as strange, We fight just as evil, just as dirty. But the thing is, we have compassion. We have a conscience. We have God. Right? So these wolves would leave the safety of the herd of the sheepdogs and the sheeps. They would wander into these hateful lands where they're outnumbered, outgunned. Right. So they do battle upon these wolves so that the many can live. You know, and I wanted to share that because that is what a warrior is. You know, people ask me, you know, too, what's a warrior? And I tell you, I want to snapshot this image of what a warrior was. You know, because you know everybody hears what a warrior do. It's this, it's that, it's living this life. But I want to snapshot this image of what a warrior is.
Yeah.
You know, we were in an 8-hour gunfight in Baghdad. And, you know, they were heavily fortified. And, you know, it was the heavy fighting years, 05. You know, I was a DS guy attached to C Squadron. We rode up, we were shot, instantly shot at, right? Small team trying to make entry, guys got shot on the first floor. They tried to funnel up, realized on the second floor it was heavy barricade, cruiser weapons, we were outgunned. Right, so they retreated. And we were, you know, they were getting shot at. They were getting shot at. And I was on a gun. I remember I was shooting back at the second floor that was heavily fortified. They were throwing grenades at these guys. We stood there and fought the ground. And I realized at that moment what a warrior is. And I wrote it down in my war journal. Every warrior has a war journal. I wrote it down that morning when I came back with this 8-hour gunfight. A warrior is a person that's willing to die for an ideal. And, you know, we saw that in the gunfight. He's willing to stand there toe to toe as rounds are slinging its way. So that's the thing. It's like your tactics and everything is great, but you have to have that mindset. Like Rick said, you have to have that fucking mindset, you know? And I think like if you go to these classes and you get the teachings from this level of instructors, because they're going to tell you how to hard stop a human being. There's a technique.
Oh, yes, there is. And that technique's learned through experience. You can sit there and read your books and other things, you know. And granted, you know, just like you're saying too, the world we used to live in, there's some things that people would have that you learn to navigate around. But at the end of the day, you know, I share that stuff, and it's not to go look at me. It's to go, hey man, there's been lessons learned, right? Because you're trying to shut the fight down, and that's what people don't get, right? It's an unemotional event. You voted ill intent, you're going to get the full gas. You know, there's no more thinking about it. And if you do, I would say, you know, contemplate what you're doing, but that's what it is. You know, if we went out the door, we killed nobody or 10,000. Hey man, everyone gets a vote out there. But here's the thing, when you check that, you know, I vote ill intent towards you or my friends or my dog or my team, whatever, you're getting the full gas, you know? And the only way that fight's pretty much going to end, you know, is if something catastrophic happens to me, right? Something that's going to put you out of the fight. If not, you're sitting there driving it to them. And that's it at the end of the day. And that's just that mindset, you know, and I hate using the word mindset because it's such a loose term this day and age, right? But until you've kind of stared death in the face and really dealt with it, do you really know what it is? You can prep for it. You can, you know, get yourself going that way. But man, when you're sitting there dealing, you know, when you're hunting down another human being, it's a total different game changer.
Well, Rick, I think you hit it right on the head right there, man, you know, because it takes guys like us through our experiences that we've gone through in life, each one here individually, to explain exactly what that mindset is to those that have never been through it, you know, because for those that haven't, their mindset is wake up in the morning and get to the gym, take a shower afterwards, get in my car, hop in traffic. Yeah. It's not, where's my gun, extra magazine? Do I have a tourniquet available in my vehicle on the way to the gym in case I encounter somebody there while I'm walking in the shower, you know?
I'm going to give you one better, right? Yeah, they're going to the gym with a plan with what they're going to do at the gym, right? Ask these guys, hey, man, what's your plan for dry fire today? Huh?
Right.
What plan? I'll go get my swole on, but I'm going to work nothing for my, my preservation. I'm not going to work my hands. I'm not going to work my firearm. If you're a knife guy, nothing. And I'm always blown away. It's like, hey guys, where's your training notebook? And two, I got to tell you, for me, a catastrophic mistake, I did not have my war journal. One of my biggest regrets, not taking enough pictures, and I didn't journal. So I would tell anyone listening, I've since rectified it, obviously a day late and a dollar short, but as my memory starts to fade after just successive whacks to the melon, it would have been nice to kind of look back.
I want to talk about that, Rick. And right, I want to talk about that, man. Is first I want to talk about the warrior, right? Right. I want to talk about warrior, man, because martial art is warrior, right? It's martial means military, and art is the practice of. Through the evolution of time of peace, it got diluted into what's form of, what you see in a ring, right? But martial art originally was formed to kill. So we understand mindset. So I always talk about mindset, but I want to hear your mindset. I'm going to put you in a situation because I want to hear your mindset in this situation.
Okay.
When you put that explosive on the door,
mm-hmm.
or your teammate,
okay,
puts that explosive on the door, back, it gives you that nod. You're going, and then you heard sounds in the next room. We already got intel that this is a bad house.
Mm-hmm.
You heard through comms, bad house. So you know what it is, right? I want to know what is going through your mind right before that thing goes off.
Nothing.
Yes. Raul, what's going through your mind, my brother?
Just what needs to be done, and if I'm okay with what's about to happen. So just the piece of it all.
Yeah. See, what people don't understand is we can block emotions and feelings off, just like that. I want to share something with you. I'm a like probably you guys. I'm a Halo jump master. And you know how many jumps you have to be a free fall jump master, especially in military free fall jump master. And I'm an advanced military free fall jump master. But what I want to share to the audience is this: I got 1,000 jumps. Night vision, guys, look, night vision, combat, right? The hard shit, right? And I tell you, I promise you this, I'm petrified of heights. See, the thing is, that's what a warrior is you understand you're afraid. It's okay to be afraid, man, right? It's okay to be afraid. But it's what you do in that moment, right? Fear. What do you do? So, I hear people always tell me, too, I'm brave. I live this life, man. I live this. But your discipline doesn't reflect it. Right. So how can you ever say that you're brave when you never felt fear at that level, and then be able to block it out and face it over? Rick, I could tell you, right? Face it over and over and over every night. Gunfights playing out 3 to 4 times a day, right? So.
But it gets to a point. It just, I think just because the way we're trained, man, I go back to all that. It's a whole a whole building block process, right? So, how you're raised, how you do stuff, how your military time hits. And then, the training we do, man. I mean, it gets you to a point where you just, you run in, you process the room, you take your snapshot, clear your corner, boom, and it's done. Next one.
So you just do it so subconscious.
Yeah.
It just happens.
But that's because, think about the reps, man. The number of rounds fired, building your skill in the flat range, how many times you're running through the house, different floor plans. I can remember, first getting a group in the 90s, man. And the big thing, we need a floor plan. We need a floor plan. No, you don't. You need a floor plan. Here's the thing. You need a floor plan when you don't know. All I need, just tell me the breach point. How am I getting in? That's all I need to know, because the rest will just work out. It doesn't matter. What does it help you? There's certain things that would be nice in certain situations. I'm not going to reveal what those are. You know, as far as what I get at, but you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You know, all this stuff doesn't matter. You know, you talk about jumping, right? It's kind of like this. You put those goggles down and you say goodbye, cruel world, for, you know, depending what altitude you're at or where you're pulling at until you pull, right? I mean, in essence, that's what you're doing. You're committing suicide for that time until you pull your, pull your chute out. Hey, man, you know, but it's like you said, all right, if something happens, right, you just work through the problem. It's funny because I remember the first time jumping at night with your goggles, right? All right, back when we had the ripcords there before the whole throw out thing, you know, you look. Nobody said, hey, bring your eyes, back because now your riser's going to kick your nods off. Oh, all of a sudden your goggles get kicked off and you're like, oh, man, I got dramas now. Are they still attached to me? Are they not? Let's get those things back on. Where's everyone at? But it's just dealing with whatever issues you got, man. So.
Well, look, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on today, and I can't wait to see you guys in Miami. Guys,
Yeah, buddy.
If you haven't signed up yet, please do. These two guys, right, or these three guys, including Chris, and, thank you for setting this all up. But what I want to say is, look, guys, you're not going to get these type of instructors in together and be able to take different angles on a snapshot award. And what they're going to bring you is real. Right, they're going to bring you real, and they're going to bring you, hey, look, we were all scared in certain phases of the war, but there was a mindset. There was a mindset that kept us alive, right? There was a ability to gather intelligence, right? And that's what you're going to get from these guys. So, Chris, can you go over the schedule again?
Sure, absolutely. Just so everybody's aware, if you are trying to purchase a ticket, we're at minimum numbers left. Very excited about that. We're 90% sold out. So that opportunity is quickly going by the wayside for anybody that's holding out. Friday's events will be registration, check-in. Some cool stuff will happen in regards to IDs going around, identifications for the event. We got some surprises for that, along with dinner and guest speaker Nick Lavery, Machine NC, active duty Green Beret. I spoke to him directly and I told him I'd like him to set the pace for the weekend as far as resiliency and adversity. Coming from a guy that got his leg shot off by a machine gun in Afghanistan, I think that's a really good reference point to start off. That leads into Saturday's training day, which will be 3 round robin courses happening simultaneously. It's the 3 guys on here right now. It'll be myself doing my gunfighter rifle. Rick will be doing his intense pistol course, and Raul is going to be doing a close contact gunfighter. Raul is bringing somebody with him that I think is pretty awesome. You got an AI coming with you, bro?
I do. He's one of the big guys that I use a lot for my company, and it's similar to what Tu was saying. Like, things develop and change, and he's a professional fighter in Bellator now, former UFC guy, but he helps with pressure because he's constantly dealing one-on-one with a human. So if I'm picking his brain and then adapting that to the whole, fight over a gun, fight over a knife, fight over your purse, right? Whatever the situation might be, it's good to have guys like that. So I'll be bringing Dan Murray, and then what's funny is he's fighting the weekend before that and then meeting us in Miami to help us train the group down there. So it'll be cool.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's going to be awesome. That leads into dinner that evening at the end of training, which, like I said, it's going to be 9 hours on that training day of just legit slinging lead and just getting that knowledge transfer from 3 guys that are on here right now. The 4th being you two. You're going to be the guest speaker that night.
Hey.
We're really excited about that. That's going to follow an awesome catered dinner. And I don't know if you want to give up maybe something you're going to talk about there, or if you want to hold on to that.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, in today's world, this is what my speech is about. It took me, my whole life to kind of came to this realization, especially, my post-war years. Everybody faced their struggles, right? So, obviously I was born in war, and I escaped Vietnam and escaped, genocide at a young age. And, what I found out through my special operations career is that, man, you got to know your why. Right? You got to know the why. When I say that, it's not why as I want to be this person and make this money, right? That doesn't matter. None of that. The why and your purpose. Like, what is your purpose? Like, and it has to be a higher purpose than yourself, because when all you do is you pick a life that just is about you, no purpose, no drive, right? So you satisfy yourself with all of these external things. When you face what is struggle, you have no strength. You never developed it, right? So what I'm saying is that, you know, when I was overseas and when I was doing my work and I was missing, you know, holidays and family, I had to know my why. You know, and when I carried some of my, you know, dead teammates off the battlefield and loaded them up on the back of the vehicle, I had to know my why.
Absolutely.
You know, so what I'm saying to you is that I'm going to share with you how I came up with my why, and the why is really found in your hardest moments. It's found in the struggles. Your why is found in the struggles because you have an easy life. How would you know anything? You know, everything's given to you. So what I'm saying is, you know, my speech is about to face the struggles, and through the struggles, you extract a higher lesson of life. You know, so I can't wait to share that with you guys.
Hell yeah. We're excited about that too, man. Following that, that leads us to Sunday. We got Airborne Tactical that's down here in South Florida. They're going to be coming out with a small surprise that we'll have immediately starting for that event, followed by 3 more training courses happening simultaneously again. 2, that'll be your course, if you want to speak about that.
Yeah, so my course is driving a gun, right? To be able to drive a gun, manipulate the weapon to the next target, to hard stop on the kill shot on the next target, be able to pick up your peripheral vision and stuff like that, process the intel. So driving the gun pistol. So I can't wait to
Hell yeah.
reach out with you guys.
That's going to be awesome. Z's going to be running his mid-range carbine at the same time. That's Instructor Z. And then we got Florida Thames that'll be there with Justin and Mr. Sosa, I will call him, just because I can't give out details about his real name and information. But he's still very active in that world, not as far as being an active frogman, but active with other components of the culture that you guys utilize afterwards. With that said, man,
just call him Mr. Pink.
And Raul,
Mr. Pink, yeah.
Please, let me just say this. Look, guys, you two instructors, look, you know, Rick, I seen you, you know, we worked in the same unit, and seeing you take your knowledge, you know, during the height, you know, we ran into each other during the war and stuff, you know, working with each other, and then now seeing who you are, you know, what you're giving back, and same with you, right? Man, it's look, guys, it's a great honor. I'm just saying, I can't wait to see you guys in person.
I got to tell you guys, just so you guys are aware of the Force Multiplier initiative that came about because of your mission set as Green Berets. I adopted that mindset for the Tier 1 event in regards to police trainers that are assigned as trainers full-time, because they are force multipliers themselves. I'm excited that the vendors that we have coming out were able to sponsor 10 police officers from around the country that meet that criteria, that are able to take that information back, spread load it to the men and women in their departments. And realistically, 10 officers have the ability to touch thousands of other officers before they hit the streets, man. That to me is the culminating effect of everything that you guys have ever done, anything that all of us have ever done. That's my give back to the law enforcement community. My give back to the Green Beret community is we're going to be auctioning off a rifle from Cobalt Kinetics, where all proceeds are going to go to the Green Beret Foundation.
Good for you, buddy. Nice.
Absolutely, man. I think that that's very important, man, you know, and coming from 2 different mission sets, stateside and then overseas, I think the information and the skill sets that everybody here brings individually, it's going to be second to none. You know, realistically, that's why it's called Tier 1.
And, you know, for my viewers that don't know what the Green Beret Foundation does, is for, you know, our teammates, you know, during a global war, any war, if they were to fall in combat, you know, it's the money to take care of their family, to make sure that their child, you know, can go to college, you know, and to kind of fill that gap if the father, you know, is missing in the child's life. So, you know, thank you for supporting that, Chris.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll have to give Aaron a haul and tell him thanks for that one, man. That's pretty spot on.
That is very awesome.
Yeah.
Aside from that, man, I really got nothing else. I'm excited to see you guys, man. It's going to be an awesome weekend. By the way, this is just the first one. The schedule for 2022 will be out here shortly. Locked in 75% of the guys for then, and it's going to be badass. This is going to be a yearly thing, and we're going to crush it. And I'm going to bring you guys back again in a couple of years, and we're going to crush it again. And we're just going to keep going forward with it, man. I'm so excited to have the best crew in the world. I thank you guys for that.
Thanks, brother, for reaching out.
Chris, thank you
Thanks,
so
man.
much.
Absolutely, man.
You know,
Thanks,
Chris,
guys. Hell
great
yeah.
to see you,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Can't wait to see you guys in Miami.
Absolutely.
Yeah, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Guys, it's if you guys don't know yet, I gotta throw in the plugs. It's tier_1 Miami. Give that a follow. Also, if you're looking to buy a ticket, it's miamitier1.com. That's it, man.
Hi, arigato gozaimasu.
Good night, guys.
All right, guys.
Miami.